Good afternoon, everybody. This is the world's biggest sports radio station. It's talkSPORT. My name's Max Rushden. And alongside me, Barry Glendenning, not here, as I said in the... and it's a big blow. Chris says, no, Barry, my Sunday has been reduced to an empty husk, which is ironic because in many ways Barry is an empty husk. It certainly is this morning. He was at the showbiz wedding event of the year, a big mate of Bezos.
Really.
So there's no Barry. So this is the voice of Charlie Baker, who you may know from the Saturday warm-up.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. You don't. What I like about it when you come and see him for Barry, you don't really have to put your back into it. It's quite good. You can just. you seem to sort of run with it, and then you just have to go. Oh yeah, you know. Okay.
He is quite interestingly. Obviously, we're on a Zoom, and we have a guest on, and I'm in the hard chair. I do the first two questions.
Yeah.
They're pretty easy. Those questions are pretty much
the obvious questions. Yeah.
Audience things, and then I point. I point my finger down the camera, and then it's to you or Barry. And you, whenever I point the finger at you, you look and go, "Yep." And quite often Barry just goes, "Nah."
He's got nothing. He's got nothing.
Just do it.
And he's a journalist. He's like a professional journalist.
But that's fine. He's allowed to do that.
Hey Max, I went to see Public Enemy this week. I've talked about it a lot on my Instagram. And it was fantastic. And my wife.
Are you going to do one of their?
Oh, absolutely. I can do one if you like. I got a letter from the government. Suck us to the side. I know you hate my '98. Anyway,
I think this is why they wrote their songs for H-Man.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah,
I think so.
My wife Samantha and I were discussing how in a partnership. In a marriage, one of you is Chuck D and one of you is Flavor Flav.
Right, okay.
And that seems to be what works. And I think that's the same with radio.
Can you interchange?
Well, now, this is what I was going to bring up with you. I think on a Saturday, I'd love to be Chuck D in my life. I have to admit, I'm not Chuck D. I am Flavor Flav.
You're not Chuck D. You're Flavor Flav. Okay.
But on a Saturday, I'm very much Flavor Flav and you're the Chuck D in the situation. Whereas on a Sunday... I think you were the Flavor Flav.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're saying I'm am I a versatile hip hop artist? Right. You're saying. Does that mean that you have to become Chuck D? I must confess.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't really know what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm sort of aware of some of their stuff, but not well enough to know.
In football terms, it's big.
Okay, give us an analogy.
It's big man, little man up front.
Got it.
You got it.
Right,
so
right.
Chuck D is like a grown up, and like a very serious grown up.
Got it.
You know, and Flavor Flav is there to go, yeah.
Okay, right, I understand.
Yeah, so, let's get this party started right. Yeah, boy.
To use a cooler analogy, he's the two guys on the side of E17 in body warmers and no tops.
Well, he's a bit more involved than that. He's a bit more involved than that, yeah. He's your Brian Harvey. If we're going with E17, he's your Brian Harvey eating too many baked potatoes and running himself over.
I'm Tony Mortimer.
You're Tony Mortimer, yeah.
I'm Tony Mortimer.
You get it.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think the listeners understand that now. Well, look, if you could play the Chuck D or Flavor Flav, whatever you're meant to today.
Chuck D is Ian Rush. Flavor Flav is Peter Beardsley. Let's have your one.
Anyway, we talk about? We were throwing ideas around before the show, very briefly, because we don't want to plan too much, and obviously talking about the 2 hour delay for possible lightning. I'm not a meteorologist, probably good.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Don't want anyone. I mean, the Club World Cup's got bad. It's got getting a bad press anyway.
This wasn't great for the rep.
Christopher Nkunku gets hit by lightning. Standing at leaning on the far post at a corner. But you were saying Nigel Adderley was on comms last night, right? And obviously you can't throw to My Sporting Life. Danny Kelly interviews Harry Redknapp because it's just a delay for rain. Could be 5 minutes, could be an hour. So Nigel Adderley and Scott Minty Minto. Let's just do a 2 hour radio show.
They were filling for 2 hours.
But the thing about a radio show is we know when it starts. Yeah. It started. We're in it.
Yeah, we're in it now.
We understand. We have seen, like, there is a plan for the show. We know where it ends. Whereas this was just busk it until and it's not like a cricket rain break.
No.
I've done cricket on talkSPORT before, right? You've got it in your mind. There's going to be maybe 40 minutes, and you've got Bumble there and Harmy, and you're just going to chat away, and that's fine. But they didn't know, and
No. Or if it was ever going to come back. Imagine if they said, I love to Nigel.
He's still broadcasting.
If you're listening, Nigel, if you can send me some more information about what you had to do.
How many times did Nigel Adderley turn to Scott Minto and go, and I guess for the players now, it's just a case.
What's going on in the dressing room now, Scott? Are they staying warm?
Just a case. So we would like stories of long pauses you've had in games.
Yeah.
Mate, me and my friend Ollie started playing squash together in about 2012.
Yeah.
And when we sat there on the court, first game, we said, what should we play? Best of 300, right?
Okay, yeah,
And I'm 149, 141 up.
Wow.
9-3 up in the next game. And then he moved to Switzerland.
Yeah.
And then just before he moved back to the UK, I moved to Australia. So we've still got, it's still open.
And he's only 8 behind, which in the scheme of things is nothing.
Yeah, and who knows? Nothing. My knee since that, my knee's really taken a pasting. Exactly. I might not get a point. But yeah, if you have like there was a long delay, we went off, but then we came on and finished the game. We'll take those. But Jurgen Klopp has said, this is the worst. I like this one. This is really easy. This is an open goal. Yeah. The worst idea in football history. Is that the direct quote?
Yes.
Is that what he said?
Klopp says, angry Klopp has slammed the Club World Cup as the worst idea ever implemented in football.
Right, there we go. So if that isn't, what is? What is the worst idea ever implemented in football?
And no one can say autobiography wars because that isn't in football. And this is Sunday. We don't talk about it.
Derry says, allowing every Tom, Dick and Harry in the Champions League should be league winners only. Andy says, Max Rushden. Well, that was obviously going to come, wasn't it? John says, the Sky reporters think they know more about what's good for the game than seasoned pros and managers and basically tell them to shut up and not have an opinion. VAR, says Dave. Ashley says, YouTubers being paid to be actual pundits on TV. I mean, this could go on for
absolutely ever, yes.
Couldn't there? So there we go. What is the worst idea?
Invented in football, yeah.
Invented in football history. 8:10:89. I reckon we could probably just rip up the rest of the show.
Yeah, we should probably do the rest of the show. It's only 8 bits. Yeah. Hardly worth coming in.
No, you're probably right. Paul says, can't believe you guys, that's me and you, were bumped from your slot yesterday by a rugby-friendly match. The writing's on the wall. Well, actually... Yeah. That was actually me and Charlie doing all the voices.
Yes.
That game didn't happen. We decided for 6 weeks. Charlie and I are going to try some improv rugby. talkSPORT are dressing it up as something called the British and Irish Lions Tour. That isn't actually happening. No. It's just some method acting from me and Charlie. I think we did quite well yesterday.
We did very well indeed. Very well indeed. Yeah. It's not why I'm here on a Sunday, by the way. I was coming in on it. I think Barry was off anyway.
Yeah.
It's not suddenly.
Lee says, I saw Iron Maiden last night, the highest of highs, and now this buffoonery.
Yes, Lee.
Which is why Iron Maiden have never asked for me and Charlie to be the,
Can you name one Iron Maiden song? They're a massively successful band, Max. One Iron Maiden song. Name one.
Oh. Yeah, there'll be some heavy stuff.
There'll be some war. There'll be some guitars and drums in that.
There'll be some guitars and drums, but something like Poisoned Death Arrowhead.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Was that a good one?
Yeah, really good.
I interviewed them once. I interviewed them once. I didn't begin with that. I didn't open. That wasn't my first question.
My favourite one is Poisoned Death Arrowhead.
Tell a lie. Tell a lie, it was Def Leppard, but you can't get everything right. So look, it's Max and Charlie here on the warm-up. We're here till 2. We intend to have a pleasant time. As I do, Charlie, I haven't asked you.
I'm trying to have a nice time, This is the other thing. Flavor Flav wore fluorescent camouflage, and it's like, pick a side flavour. You either want to be seen or you don't. Which one was it?
You live in a really fun place.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Apparently, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has left Everton and is available as a free agent.
Oh.
Decision confirmed. So,
is that official?
Get Dominic Calvert. That's official. Yeah,
that's official. Okay.
Breaking news.
Wonder where it'll go.
John from Warwick says, "Hi, Max and Charlie. What time's Gary Ginger on my Sunday?"
Gary Ginger, but he's having quiet Saturdays at the moment.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. All right, should we get on with them?
Yeah, let's do the show. Yeah, very nice.
1 bit of 8 done. Darren Ambrose joins us. He was obviously commentating on England under 21s that victory over Germany yesterday. Didn't they do well? And we'll talk to Darren Ambrose about that in just a second.
Back to Morton, who delivers a great cross. Header in! John Rowe off the bench to score for England. It's England 3, Germany 2. Early in extra extra time.
What an impact.
It is history for England's under-21s. A fourth European Championship title, and they are the first team ever to win it back-to-back.
Each and every player in this squad deserved this, and I'm thrilled to bits for them all.
1982, 84, 2023, and now 2025. England's young guns are kings of Europe again. The ticker tape goes off. McAtee hoists the trophy high up into the air. The England players jumping up and down in delight.
Yeah, great win for England.
Fantastic.
Just on the subject of what is the worst idea of football ever, which the Klopp said the Club World Cup was, Peter just says, players walking out slowly at the start of the game and lining up. Bring back sprinting out the tunnel and hoofing balls in the air.
Yeah, lovely idea. Yes, please.
Couldn't agree more. Anyway, let's hear from Lee Carsley then of what this win means for those players.
I think with the DNA, the DNA is a brilliant document, but you have to live it. You know, you have to believe in it. You have to make sure that we're putting the right players in the right camps from under 15s right the way through to the senior team, and it's a great document that we often refer to, and it's shown that we are capable of winning at this level in terms of 17s, 19s, and 21s, and what we can't forget is that we're here to support the senior team. That's our main goal, is to push players through to the seniors and hopefully win a World Cup or European Championships.
Lee Carsley there. Darren Ambrose was doing co-coms for the game, played under 21s for England, of course, and joins us now. Hey, Darren, you okay?
Afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
I mean, it was some game, wasn't it?
You know, it was some game. It was some tournament, to be honest. And the game last night they saved the best till last. I said this on comms. It's been a tournament perfectly played by England, in my opinion. The group stage, winning one, drawing one, losing one. They done the job. They got through the group stage underwhelmingly, it has to be said. But after that, they were absolutely tremendous against Spain, against Netherlands. But they saved the best till last. The performance yesterday, particularly in the first half, guys. It was, and Joe Shannon said this on commentary, it was champagne football at stages. It could have been 4-0, 5-0 even in the first half. They allowed Germany to get back into it, but to show the resilience to get the goal in the extra time was outstanding.
I thought they coped with the pressure so well, Darren, that they played without fear. They looked in control, and that ball into the box for the winner was brilliant, and you just go, oh yeah, this is what you want from an England team.
Without fear is the perfect description of it. And you know what? They grew not only throughout this tournament, but throughout that game. They gained experience in that match itself. They went 2-0 up, and you're thinking the football they were playing, it was over already. They obviously scored Germany just before half time. That changes momentum. They were the better side, I'd say, Germany in the second half. But when they got the goal in extra time after a minute, the game management to see out that match and to win it after the disappointment of going 2-0 up and going back to 2-2, it just showed that they'd gained experience within the 120 minutes. I just thought it was a perfect tournament for England. A bit different to a couple of years ago. They didn't concede a goal. A couple of years ago, it was quite an easier tournament. But I think the players deserve a lot of credit, and Lee Carsley, Ashley Cole, all the coaching staff. I said it. They deserved that last night.
Yeah, and actually, Lee Carsley had to deal with players getting injured during that game, and we're so obsessed with, especially with England, right, and game management and decisions in game and managers being proactive. And it's just funny with Lee Carsley, isn't he, that he did those 2 games and he got slated because he played all the 10s and whatever. But clearly, he is a very good tournament manager.
Yeah, look, I said this, and I didn't criticise him as such, but I was questioning the decision to play Jonathan Rowe up front in the first few games when you had the natural number 9 in Jay Stansfield sitting on the bench waiting his turn, and he ended up coming on and playing in the quarters and semis and the final. And it was such a different game last night. He made a brave decision, and as you're saying, in-game management, a brave decision, took Jay Stansfield off, put Norton Cuffy on after about an hour, 65 minutes. And then in the 90th minute or so, he took off Harvey Elliott, brought on Jonathan Rowe, which again, player of the tournament, Harvey Elliott, excellent throughout this whole tournament. To take him off and bring John Rowe on, and what goes and happens? John Rose scores with his first touch in extra time. It was perfect game plan from Lee Carsley, and you'd have to be said, apart from the Germany game, it was a perfect tournament for him.
Yeah, back-to-back wins in this tournament. I'm used to with England with the men's team feeling like, oh, that's it. We need to win this tournament, or that's this generation gone, or that's this gone. And this current setup where we've got a manager who's in for 18 months for one tournament, and this current group of players, I think, is a phenomenal group of players, and I think we should get. I mean, we have been getting to the ends of tournaments, haven't we? But I think we should be winning a tournament in the next 4 years myself. But it makes me think, maybe it's not going to be this one or nothing. Maybe, with these under 21s coming through, it makes me think, there's a generation to follow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was asked a question last night after the game that who is the next ones through this group? Who's the ones that's going to make the push up? And my answer was easy, really. It could be any one of them. Any one of those players in that squad played their part throughout the tournament. And any one of those could go back to their club football, wherever it may be. Some are playing in Europe, some are playing in big clubs in England. They have a good season. You know what it's like. You can get put straight into that first team. If I look at the squad, I'd say Livramento is probably the number one on that list for me. I think he has to go to the World Cup. He has to. It's his versatility across the fullback, the back line. He's a very talented football player. You'd have to look at Harvey Elliott as well. I think he could, the versatility of number 6, number 8, number 10 on either side. I think he's a big option. Charlie Cresswell, Jarell Quansah, solid throughout the whole tournament. Yeah, really, really good. And not many people know about Charlie Cresswell playing his football in Toulouse. He was phenomenal. He's probably the pick of the two in the centre-half position, but they were both solid. No one really got the better of them. They almost player of the tournament, Nick Voldemar last night. He didn't get a sniff, really, against those two. I just think every one of these players have an opportunity, and it's credit to everyone that's that in the youth system of England, everyone at the FA that are looking into this. Yes, Thomas Tuchel has 18 months, but in those 18 months, he was there last night. I mean, win-win for him last night. I don't know who was supporting, whether he was supporting Germany or England, but at the end, he looked delighted. He's probably rubbing his hands together saying, I've got an abundance of talent that I can choose from in the next few years.
Who played in the 6 and could they do it? Because that's, that is one of the big questions. That's one of, we need Jordan Henderson in the squad. I'd just take him as a coach, whatever. I think, was there anyone in that side playing in centre mid who you thought actually you could drop them in to that would enable Declan Rice to play like he should and enable Jude Bellingham to play like he should?
Yeah, you know what? Either Alex Scott, who he came off last night with an injury. He took a couple of bad challenges. He came off, and you really you could see the difference when he came off. But I'd say the pick of them was Elliot Anderson. I think he was he was brilliant throughout. He missed, I think it was the quarter-final. Tyler Morton come in and played. So he missed that. Then Morton was suspended for the semi, so he got his opportunity again. But he was the one pulling the strings. He was the one that was taking games by the scruff of the neck in terms of, not in terms of Harvey Elliott or the attacking threats, but in terms of I'm not letting you come through. I was protecting my back foot and I'm getting box to box. I was really impressed with Elliot Anderson. Took a lovely penalty as well in the game against Spain to seal it. He's out of the two, Harvey Elliott and Alex Scott. Elliot Anderson, is probably just ahead of Alex Scott at the moment, but both of those had a real good tournament.
What happens, Darren, now when you look back at we look back at this in 15 years' time, when we look back at this team, and sometimes you look back at those. Are
we going to do that,
squads.
Charlie? Are you deciding?
No, but I'm just in 15 years. Yeah, no. You look, it often happens, doesn't it? You look back at
where are they now?
Where are they now? Team sheets. What happens to the players that don't make it now, Darren? Is it just life gets in the way? Do people get injured? People's careers go all over the place? What happens?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, really. I think, as I said, the world's their oyster for all these players. If they approach it the right way, the correct way, maybe not all of them will go to the full squad. We've seen that. That's very unlikely. But if they approach their careers the right way, they'll all have very long careers at top football clubs. You look at Jay Stansfield. He's been down in the lower leagues and with Birmingham, and now he's obviously going to be playing Championship football next year.
Yeah,
he could continue to go through the divisions, and if Birmingham continue, he could play in the Premier League. I thought James Beadle had an excellent tournament as well. All these can have fantastic careers, but it's the elite ones, and what I mentioned, Livramento, players like Harvey Elliott, who was player of the tournament, he was fantastic. Amari Hutchinson, I felt was really good. James McAtee as well. Everyone had their moments. So I'm expecting to look back in 10, 15 years to a group of players that have won this tournament, that have had fantastic careers. Some of them made the leap to the full squad and had 50, 100 caps, whatever it may be. So it's exciting times for England in terms of the youth system, winning back-to-back for the first time since 1983, 84. I was really, really impressed considering how they played in the group stage. I thought they struggled a little bit, but to come through that and go on to win the tournament was absolutely brilliant.
Hey, Darren, thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Darren.
your time.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
Darren Ambrose there.
Yeah.
Former England under-21 midfielder.
He's still got it. He's still got it.
I went in goal in that charity game from 1 minute. I think my little finger still hurts. Interestingly, keeper James Beadle, his granddad, because he's a real prankster in the dressing room. His granddad Jeremy, be so proud.
He really will.
Of,
really will.
You know, of everything.
It's a shame he's a keeper because he can't get about, can he?
Yeah, right.
Beadle can't get about.
Beard. He takes off that beard. He goes, on the traffic
don't
warden.
drive that van into the river.
Don't do that. Nigel Adley's been in touch.
Okay,
on
good
commentary
news.
for the Chelsea game, and he says they did 35 minutes busking him and Scott.
Oh, very nice.
Then he says,
Oasis hits.
Exactly. This is Nelly Furtado. I'm just going to do my Nelly, but Nigel Adley does. I'm like a bird. He said, after 35 minutes, Will Gavin took the correct decision to play a number of cult heroes until the resumption with updates in between. If you remember, it went off on the 86th minute and Chelsea were 1-0 up. He said, I've never sworn in a commentary, but when Di Maria scored that penalty, I've never been closer. Imagine that. I go, right, okay, It's been 2 hours. We've only got 5 minutes left. Chelsea are 1 up. It's fine. And then that penalty was one of those handballs. Oh, it's one of those absolute killer handballs. God, that's never a penalty. No one wants that to be a penalty.
No.
Di Maria rolls it home. They're like, oh, God, another half an hour of this. Anyway, the Women's Euros is soon, and unlike the Club World Cup, it is good and interesting. Or interesting for the right... The Club World Cup is interesting, but just not for the right reasons. Charlotte Richardson will join us in just a second, and we will look ahead to that.
pitch, get underway. Right-footed drive, hits the post, comes off the goalkeeper and in. Spectacular hit from Diani.
Cuts back onto her right foot and finds the net. Vivian Miedema.
And opportunities around the goalkeeper, and it's in from Bob Marty.
Hooks up the cross, and the header is in from Harder.
Into the penalty area. Gonzalez with the shot, past the goalkeeper and in. A lovely move by Spain.
His ball has fallen for Hagerberg in the penalty area. Plays it square. Frida Marnham taps it in. 2 goals in quick succession for Norway.
And Eva Pyle there to gleefully tap home from inside the 6-yard box.
So Wales, for the first time in their history, have qualified for a major tournament.
Gritting Cannerin from the angle with the shot, and it flashes into the back of the net.
Opportunity for Russo inside the penalty area. Finds the corner. Alessia Russo for England.
Yeah, let's look ahead to the Women's Euros. Can England regain their title? Let's bring in Charlotte Richardson, women's football expert. Hey, Charlotte.
Hey, Charlotte.
Good afternoon, guys.
England got to get out of their group first. That England group is England, France, Netherlands, and Wales is about as hard as it gets.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to set the tone, certainly, for England in this tournament, coming in as the holders of the competition. It's really interesting when you actually look at the dynamics of the tournament as well and preparing for a major competition like this. In the past, perhaps you talk about growing in a tournament, but really and truly, there are only 6 games. This is a 6-game tournament. And I think over the years, Sarina Wiegman has really built a squad to be effective at that tournament management. But there is no room for error here. There is a lot of pressure on that England team for that opening game against France, and as you said there, the Netherlands, and then all on the line potentially against Wales, who, although they are the lowest ranked side in the competition, will be wanting to make sure that England have as uncomfortable time as possible in those ambitions to get out of the group.
But if you think of, I mean, that is the interesting about this group, and for listeners who don't necessarily follow the women's game that much, there are probably, 5 or 6 teams who could win this tournament. And 3 of them are in Group D. I mean, so you've got England, France, and the Netherlands. Yeah. One of those potential winners just won't make it.
Exactly. So there's going to be one nation really upset. And I think, again, with this Euros as well, in terms of the rapid growth and improvement, we saw it in the World Cup, didn't we? A few shock results, certainly a few punishing performances and testing games against what I call, in inverted commas, lesser nations. And by that, I mean that don't have necessarily the funding that nations like England, France and Spain and Germany have. So it will be interesting to see which teams are kind of sharpened up tactically, technically. But I always feel a degree of comfort because we have Sarina Wiegman and her experience and nous. And it was really brilliant as well, seeing the England under-21s win last night, and I was just thinking actually about the similarities between the management styles of Lee Carsley and Sarina Wiegman, 2 England coaches that have been with a group of players for a long time, having to deal with issues in the squad ahead of a major tournament as well, because it wasn't exactly easy for the under-21s. Likewise, it hasn't been easy for the Lionesses, but her know-how and experience will hopefully serve us really well in navigating our way out of the group of death, and perhaps be a real foundation for England, because they're going to have to be at that peak performance really early on. That will then hopefully build momentum.
Yeah, I think Germany are a dark horse for the tournament, actually. They should walk their group. I think Sweden might give them a game, but everyone else they should comfortably beat. And they've got Lena Oberdorf, who's fantastic midfielder. I think they could, if they have an easy group, they could really, they're my dark horse pick. I don't know what you think, Charlotte.
It's so funny you say that as well, Charlie, because I have written down Germany dark horse, which sounds absolutely ridiculous because they're like the bronze medalists from the Olympics. Yeah. They're 3rd ranked in the world. How could they possibly be a dark horse? They've got to be almost like a front runner. But I think they perhaps haven't necessarily had the same amount of spotlight like England and Spain have had. Looking into all the squad selections, and it feels like there's been quite a lot of nations as well where, similar to England, there's been a little bit of a disruption, certain players being left out and so on. But Germany, of course, do also have that streak of revenge that they're looking for, being beaten by England at Wembley Stadium. They're going to want to atone that. They're going to want to correct that, and do have that luxury of a slightly easier group. Yeah. So can perhaps have that narrative of growth in the competition like England did when they won it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously, the England squad is quite different from the one that won the Euros. I mean, who are you? Do you think they are in a better position than that? Obviously, we won that tournament, but that doesn't necessarily mean the squad is better then than it is now. How do you feel about this squad going into this tournament?
I feel quietly confident. I really like the mix of experienced internationals with plenty of caps, major tournament experience under their belt, with the young, hungry players who will want to make an impact, want to make an imprint. And I think back on the last Euros tournament when the likes of Ella Toone and Alessia Russo, they weren't household names, and the way that Sarina Wiegman had kind of bled them into the team, having those impacts off the bench. One player I'm really excited for people to watch, and maybe a few eyebrows were raised when she was selected into the squad, but Michelle Adjemang, the Arsenal forward, who came on in her England debut and scored an absolutely fantastic goal. I love her personality off the pitch. I love the confidence that she oozes. And I just get the sense with this England Lionesses group that they want to kind of write their own chapter in the Lionesses' history. They seem in all of their interviews in the build-up to have a very, very strong belief in one another and look at it as a real opportunity. They know that they have this target on their backs, but it seems to be something they relish. And even the way they've answered questions about the group of death, I've just been really impressed by. So I love that blend of youth and experience. I'm really looking forward to the game tonight against Jamaica because I think we'll learn a lot about Sarina's vision for this tournament from that 11.
What about Wales? I mean, it's a great achievement to make it without sounding patronising. And then they look at these three teams they've got to play. Just being there is enough for them? Is that, or is that just a terrible thing to say?
I don't think it's a terrible thing to say because the magnitude of making it to a first major tournament is incredibly significant, and the journey that the Welsh women's team has been on, even in sort of the recent years, and we talk and when we have these discussions about women's football, I think some listeners probably don't realise the conditions and the lack of resource that some women's teams have had from their federations, and a lot of investment has gone into the Wales national team, and it's brilliant to see the reward of making it to a major tournament. I think they have an absolutely fantastic manager who's really astute, and we were talking perhaps about the pressure of the England Lionesses. Flip that on its head. Wales have nothing to lose. And as we saw when the men's side made it to a major tournament and progressed all the way to the semi-finals, that Welsh dragon instinct, that togetherness, that group mentality can serve you really, really well because it can be a battle and results can catch the eye. And with Wales, I just think, don't rule them out. I'm a bit nervous about our last group game being against them, I must say.
And just finally, Spain, who obviously were brilliant in the World Cup, and have such brilliant players. And I suppose it was such a surprise that Barcelona didn't win the Champions League final because we were just expecting them to.
That might give England some hope, mightn't it, against Spain? Arsenal winning the Champions League. Sorry, Max.
Sorry?
You were carrying on your question. I butted in by saying
Well, you asked a question. I'm happy for Charlotte to answer your question. It's not even your show, but, that's the way you want it.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Absolutely fine. Talk to us about Spain, Charlotte.
Well, Spain are the world champions. They have quality all across the football pitch. But as is always the case, for every country going into a major tournament, there are often the unexpected things. And seeing Aitana Bonmati share an image on her social media, laid up in bed with viral meningitis.
Viral meningitis, yeah.
She is back-to-back Ballon d'Or winner, and she is a player that can make something happen out of nothing. And although Spain are used to being dominant, even in recent matches against England, they've been given a far tougher time. Bonmati just has this footballing brain that unlocks phases of play before anyone else can even catch up. So that's going to be interesting because should Spain not get off to the start that they want, you can't really put Bonmati in from the start. They're going to have to rely on her and hope that they make it through to the latter phases. But look, they're very, very talented. They've got a wealth of attacking players who can cause teams all sorts of problems. But it's about turning up on the biggest stage of all. And just psychologically, is there a little chink there knowing that you've got one of your best players unable to be fully fit?
Yeah, we obviously wish her well, but she is responding to treatment, and she is, she is okay. I think it's worth saying. Charlotte, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Speak to you again soon.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Charlotte Richardson there. Yeah, every England game, every Wales game on the talkSPORT network. It begins on Wednesday, the tournament. Iceland take on Finland. And that will be live on talkSPORT Euro 2025 from Switzerland. Alex Brooker will join us in just a second. Who has he's done this show before?
Yeah,
you've done shows with
he's done H&J.
Talented guy, and he is at the EE Disability FA Cup, and we will talk to him about that in just a second. Good afternoon. It is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max and Charlie with you until 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning?
2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's like the Club World Cup.
Running through till 2 in the morning. Let's keep it going for the next 11 hours.
Just in case, it's going to be postponed for the threat of lightning. And then we'll have to go off and come back on again.
Yeah, Barry Glendenning is trying to listen on the app.
On the app.
But he says can't get it to work.
Is anyone listening on the app? Is it working for you? The question is it user error? He was Jonathan Wilson got married yesterday.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't think that's a secret. It wasn't quite as high profile as Bezos.
No,
Do you think Orlando Bloom likes Jeff Bezos? What do you think Jeff Bezos said?
I think people like money. Max.
Well, I agree people like money, but was Jeff shelling out to get famous people at his wedding, or do they just go because it's probably worth it? I'll go to Venice, I'll have a nice time, and it's good to be...
Does he still own Amazon?
I think so.
So he probably makes loads of films. He probably is
Orlando Bloom, right? Yeah. Not
Amazon.
Just Orlando Bloom thinks I'll get my deliveries definitely to my door.
Maybe he gets free TV, and free one day. Maybe he gets free Prime.
That whole thing is just it's tragic. I mean, apart from the true love bit, obviously.
Yeah, obviously they are deeply in love.
State of the world. It's the state of the world. It's just head in hands there.
Is this what it's like on a Sunday? I like it. It's like just God.
You can have some thoughts. What are you doing, Orlando? Don't fly to Venice just to go to Jeff Bezos' wedding.
Yeah.
Just go out with some friends. Anyway, unless of course they're great mates, and then good luck.
They might be best friends.
They could be best friends. And I picked him out of lots of famous people went. Because, of course, you want lots of celebrities at your wedding, not people you're actually friends with. Let's look at the latest odds ahead of today's action with William Hill.
Yes, please.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Yeah, odds of the prenup being enacted for... No, I'm only kidding. I'm kidding, Dave. Dave Kellner joins us. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good.
I'm very, very good, thanks. So look, what should we do? Club World Cup, we've got Wimbledon, we've got the Women's Euros, we've got racing as well, the Irish Derby today. Should we start the Club World Cup? How do you see it all panning out?
Yeah, let's do that. PSG obviously long odds on to beat Inter Miami later on. The 2-11 to win the game. The draw 13-2 with Inter Miami in the betting at 12-1. We've got an epic boost available with Impact Sub. If you fancy Lionel Messi to have 2 or more shots on target, that's been enhanced from 6-4 out to 3-1. Messi, of course, 9 shots in the tournament so far, 4 on target. And if Inter Miami are to stand any chance of upsetting PSG later on this evening, Messi will have to be on top form, obviously. And I think that PSG will obviously have the edge. They've been beaten by Botafogo in the tournament to date, but Inter Miami have looked, well, average so far. So if you fancy Messi to have 2 or more shots on target, that's available at 3-1. It is a bet builder winnings boost game as well with William Hill, so you get a 25% boost on your bet builders. I've looked at PSG to win, both teams to score. PSG have conceded in 2 of their 3 games so far, and Kvaratskhelia to assist in the game. That's available at 17-4. He's got a couple of assists so far, and with that 25% boost, that goes out to 5-1. And the other game in the Club World Cup this evening is Flamengo versus Bayern Munich. And I thought Flamengo were overpriced here at 7-2. The draw's 13-5 with Bayern Munich in the betting at 3-4. It's come at the right time in the season for these Brazilian clubs that are accustomed to these conditions, and I think they've looked pretty good so far. You've got Brazilian champions going up against Bundesliga champions, and I thought 7-2 on Flamengo was a bit of value in that game against Bayern later on this evening.
Wimbledon starts, what is it, tomorrow? I presume are people in tents queuing up, waiting to see if Tim Henman can finally get over the line. Who's going to win it, Dave?
I don't think it's going to be Jack Draper. He's been handed
what a draw that is, Dave.
Draw.
Unbelievable. Every single hard player he has to beat to get to the final.
It is unbelievable. I mean, he's got to beat Yannick Sinner, Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz if he's to win the tournament. On the back of that draw, Max, he went out from 9-1 to 18-1 to win Wimbledon. So big drift on him. Carlos Alcaraz is favourite with William Hill at 6-5. Yannick Sinner's 19-10. Novak Djokovic 13-2. Jack Draper in the betting at 18s, and it's bigger the rest. We have got an enhancement available. We'll have price boost throughout the entire tournament. Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz both to reach the final was 13-8, enhanced to 15-8. I don't know if you caught that final at Roland Garros, Max, but it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. 5.5 hours of 5.5 hours of amazing tennis.
I know it's good, but you just have to. If it happened to be on, I'd have been mesmerised. But I've just got other things on. But love to all the tennis fans. The Irish Derby, is that today, David?
It is 4:10, the Irish Derby later on this afternoon at the Curragh. We've got 3 extra places with best odds guaranteed at the Curragh as well. You can check those out at williamhill.com and on the app. Lambourne is odds on to supplement his win in the Epsom Derby with a win in the Irish Derby later on at 5-6. Pride of Arras is 6-1. Tennessee Stud 7-1. 9-1. Green Impact 10-1, and bigger the rest. If you fancy Lambourne to win easily like he did at Epsom, won by 3 3/4 lengths. Lambourne to win by over 1 length is a price boost, 6-5 out to 7-4 with William Hill. Ryan Moore could have a wonderful afternoon at the Curragh. He's got a really good book of rides, and Lambourne maybe the best of those later on, and his odds on, Max, to win the Irish Derby to go along with the Epsom Derby. 5-6 Lambourne to win that race this afternoon.
Good stuff. Thanks for coming on, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Max.
Dave Kellner there. That was the latest odds of William Hill. 18+, begambleaware.org.
In the Zone on talkSPORT with William Hill. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Actually, I was more down on tennis there, maybe for effect than
you like it, don't you?
I quite like it.
Not bothered.
I don't love it.
I love it.
I don't dislike it as much. I was sort of, when you try and be cool at school.
Yeah.
That was one of those moments. I was just trying to impress you and our next guest, Alex Brooker. I don't know if it worked or not.
You're going to impress me by doing the tennis now. I love the tennis. I don't know if Alex likes tennis or not. I know Adam Hills likes tennis, his other colleague.
It didn't impress me.
It didn't impress me. No.
Okay, there we go.
You like Shania Twain?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good. You can hear vuvuzelas in the background behind me. They've made an unwelcome return to football at the FA Disability Cup.
Right, so tell us all, vuvuzelas aside, tell us, can you just turn around and tell them to we can't hear them that much, I don't think. Right. Tell us what...
I just want to say how much the noise really does carry indoors.
Oh, lovely.
Outdoors it was loud, but indoors, there's only two of them making this noise.
It's a retractable roof that you don't want. Take them to centre court, because I hate tennis. Right, tell us about the FA Disability Cup.
Yeah, so I've been here at the FA Disability Cup, yesterday and today. There's been 3 finals yesterday in the amputee football, the visually impaired football, and the blind football. That was yesterday. And today already we've had the cerebral palsy final. And currently going on behind me is the power chair final between Aspire and West Brom. And at half-time, Aspire were 2-0 up. So it's been, honestly, I find the power chair football, I find fascinating because of the skill involved, like the timing to turn the chair, to hit the ball at the exact time you need, the power you need. I just find this is what I've loved most about this weekend is the different the different formats of disability football, the skill that's involved, to overcome your impairments in each one. It's the best event.
Yeah, Josh Pugh plays in the partially sighted team, so I've been following them for sort of 2 or 3 years because he's a mate, and it's a fun Instagram watch as well. And the skill level is absolutely insane. They are so good.
The partially sighted final we had yesterday, and Josh's Birmingham team won 5-4 against Merseyside. And it's one of the best finals. If you get a chance, generally catch up with the highlights because the goals are absolutely outrageous. He had everything. Birmingham went 3-0 up, then Merseyside came back to 3-3. Then Birmingham ended up going back ahead in the last minute, and then there was a penalty that was missed with one of the last kicks of the game. It had everything. Josh actually wasn't playing because he had a back injury, but it was brilliant. And also, again, you're watching that, and it's in a futsal hall, and it's just, the game is so quick. It's such an elite level of football.
Yeah.
And yet you find yourself forgetting that some of these people don't have, some of the players don't have a kind of lateral vision. So they were, one of the coaches was saying to me that one of the players, they had him playing on the wing, and actually they realised after a while that his vision, with the way it's impaired, was stopping him seeing the ball until too late out on the wing.
Wow.
And then they moved him up top with his back to goal where he can see it more. And he's become an absolute superstar. So it's just things like that, little nuances that obviously you wouldn't normally think about. It's just, I just think it's an incredible event. And I've said it loads on the coverage on TNT this weekend that, it makes me feel old. Now I'm 41, but looking back when I was a kid, there was nothing like that. No kind of, disability football. There was, when I was younger, I was maybe, I felt that maybe football wasn't something for people like me, and I kind of avoided it for quite a while, and then in the end when I was a teenager just loved it too much to avoid it any longer. But for youngsters watching this, knowing that not only is there a format of football for them, but also that there's elite pathways. The power chair guys have just come from the Club World Cup. There were teams from Uruguay and from Argentina in it. So it's a worldwide sport. Brilliant. And I just think that it's to know that you can not only play, but also have like an elite pathway if you want to choose it.
Yeah, and that is like credit to like TNT in this case and Discovery Plus and for putting it on and, broadcasting it. And it's credit to you, I guess, for the last leg and things like that. Because I wonder whenever we talk about accessibility and disability, it doesn't get a lot of news coverage because it's not a culture war. Like, everything's a culture war, but there just aren't people going, no, I don't think disabled people should be able to get on trains or be able to play sport. And so it doesn't really get... It doesn't get perhaps the coverage that it needs to get, but it is a positive sign, as you say, that this exists now, and it didn't 20, 30 years ago.
It didn't. And, I was talking to all of the coaches of the teams and said the same thing, that for the players, it's a big community thing as well. And certainly for me, when I was younger, you've got to bear in mind, like most people, I was the only disabled kid in my school. I didn't know anyone who looked like me. I didn't have anyone to talk to about things that I was going through, and actually you find yourself in this group with other disabled people in a team. People know what you're going through. You found a format of football for you. You don't feel kind of excluded or kind of, on the sidelines. And the confidence that gives you, you can't underestimate it. When I found disability football when I was 14 or so, the difference it made to me, just to know that there was something for me, was measurable.
Fantastic. I just want to go after you. I want to ask you, Alex, a quick word on Arsenal's summer transfer
dealings. Do they need a striker? Is that what you're going to say?
No. I'm going to ask him about Arsenal's summer transfer dealings, which won't be a long conversation.
What I think is maybe we're aiming to play a team full of midfielders and left backs, and then we're just going to park the bus. But no, look, I have faith. I have faith that I do believe they know they need a striker. You know, sometimes as fans, you go, maybe they've seen something that we don't. Maybe they know something we don't. I think now, I get the impression that they all know they need a striker. And I have no doubt at some point that striker will be coming in. It was so funny when we were linked with Christian Norgard the other day. The first thing I thought was, does he play up front? It turns out no, he's a midfielder. But I'm sure they'll do everyone's getting frustrated. I know because Liverpool, they've won the league and they've gone out and they've clearly improved their squad very quickly. You know, Man City have bought players in already, and Chelsea. I think everyone's kind of panicking a little bit, but I have faith that by the time the season starts, they'll have the players they need in place, and they need to, because it's a tricky old start for Arsenal.
Yeah, really tough.
It is. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really funny.
Cheers, Alex. Have a good day, my friend.
Alex. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Alex Brooker there. So look, there is time to tune in and watch the last two finals on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. Alex Brooker there. It's Max and Charlie with you until 2. But not actually Barry Glendale today. Charlie Baker. The warm-up squad is quite extraordinary depth. It has 3 people in it, and there are 2 of us doing it. Max and Charlie with you until 2. Let's talk about Sheffield Wednesday then. Bringing James Mapp in from the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. Hey, James, you okay?
James. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you very much. A lot better than what the current state of the club is at the moment, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, I guess.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we obviously we try most of the show just to have a nice time, and something that is sort of always embedded in football is that your club exists, right? Teams can be good, they can be bad, they can be mid-table, whatever, but you know the fixtures come out. You get to go to your games and all that, and I just don't know where are you currently? Like, what is the state of the fear amongst Wednesday fans? Am I overstating to say that the club could go out of business? I know players aren't being paid, players could leave, the manager might leave, but what is what's the worst case scenario here?
I mean, I'd be lying to say that people aren't thinking like that. Personally, I don't think it would ever get to that stage. I mean, I hope it doesn't. A club of Sheffield Wednesday's size, I'm sure there would be someone there to take over at some point. Where, however bad it gets, the problem is how bad is it going to get to that point? But there's a lot of worried Sheffield Wednesday fans out there, myself included. We're talking about players' wages, we're talking about the staff wages, we're talking about stuff that as a football fan I shouldn't really be interested in. We're talking about what day's payday. Was it Friday just gone? Is it this Monday coming up? That's not really discussions that we should be having. I should be talking about players playing in the pivot.
Yeah, exactly. And how has this come about?
It's come about by the owner just not knowing how to run a business. He's just many mistakes. It's not something that's happened overnight. It's something that's happened. He's been here 10 years now, and it's just constant problems that he's had. We don't sell any players. We don't move any players on, so we're not getting that money coming through that way. It's just a culmination of many things, and relying on the money from fans. Season tickets go on sale in end of November, early December, which is mental. That's for the next season, of course, and that money's already been used up. He's already come out and said that, and it's just a real, just a lot of multiple problems. I could go in and talk about that, but I need up until midnight tomorrow, I think, to go through everything that's actually gone wrong at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, we were in a similar position at Torquay about 18 months ago, where we thought the club was going to be shut down and liquidised, and all those sorts of things. And you think the thing that you love more than anything is going to, well, not more than anything, but the fun thing you love more than anything is going to be taken away from you. What stage are you at? Are you anywhere near administration? Has he got the money? Is it just that he's bad at business? Which stage are you at, James?
Do you know what? Nothing comes out of the club, and we always kept in the dark with all stuff like that. My honest opinion is that he hasn't got any money anymore. I mean, the fact that players' wages weren't paid last month, it looks like they're not going to be paid this month. We've even got club staff, like the heartbeat of the club, people that work in the shop and things like that. They didn't get paid last month. They eventually did. It looks like they're not going to get paid this time around. So if you did have the money, I mean, that at least pay those people. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones that need the money the most. Not saying that footballers don't, but you'd like to think they could still carry on and function. But so I just don't think I don't think he's got any money. I don't know. We don't know where his money comes from. That is the big question that I don't think has been asked enough of Chansiri, where his money actually comes from. He says it comes from his from Thailand, but we don't. There's no evidence of any businesses that he has or anything like that. Famously, John West came out a couple of weeks ago to publicly state that they're not anything to do with it. Obviously, that's the Thai Union Foods Group that his family part own. So yeah, there is big questions as to where it comes from, and he's never come out and actually said that. So we're all left in the dark, and that is the worst thing because rumours start going round, and you don't know what to believe or who to believe, and we get into this situation where we'll
Sorry, James. Was his motivation, like a lot of people who come in to buy a club in the Championship, to sort of gamble to get to the Premier League and make loads of money, do you think? Because he has put money... I mean, it's not like he's not put money in. He's put lots of money in, but sort of not in a very good way. And there is a risk around Championship clubs of just trying to gamble and overspending and then not getting to the Premier League.
Yeah, obviously, when he first came in, we got within 90 minutes away from Premier League football, obviously losing to Hull at Wembley, of course. Then we got to the playoffs the year after. I think that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to gamble, but, we gambled on players that were... I don't want to say past it, but, they didn't really have a sell-on value or anything like that. Now you see clubs like Sunderland that are kind of, I don't want to say doing it the right way, but, they're invested in the youth players and moving players on and reinvesting that money. Brighton, Brentford is another example. We kind of tried to do it a different way. And, people keep saying he's been ill-advised, which, yes, to a certain extent, but you can kind of help yourself, really, and I don't think he's helped himself at all throughout the whole situation. And I'm sure you've seen some of the outbursts that he's had, in press conferences and fans forums and things like that. Yeah, we just. It's just coming to a head at the moment, and it's just not a good place to be as a Sheffield Wednesday fan.
And are there people who want to buy the club?
Yeah, there's a Florida consortium that have publicly come out and had 2 bids rejected. I find it quite ironic that in his recent outburst, he's called this Florida consortium out for not having enough money to run the football club, and in literally the next day, he then doesn't pay HMRC and then doesn't pay the players' wages, which I find, really
he hasn't
ironic.
got enough money to run the football club, yeah.
Yeah, how can someone that hasn't got enough money tell someone else that they also haven't got enough money? I just find it baffling, and I'm sure the staff are delighted that someone else isn't going to come in and at least pay their wages because of this man at the top that seemingly doesn't want to part way with it. And look, 40-50 million pound bids for the football club, a club that is on its knees at the moment. Yeah, I would have taken that money and ran. Like you could leave with. Well, I don't think you can leave with any dignity at the moment, but you could get out of it and just move on, and you will just literally be a blot on the paper in terms of the ownership of the football club.
And tell us about Hillsborough as well.
I was going to say
that's owned by
is it a community asset
company of his or something?
Yeah, so it is classed as a community asset, so it can't be knocked down and have a Tesco's built on there.
Yeah,
but no, he does own that. So that when we got relegated into League One a few years back, that was the reason why he sold the stadium, which obviously he can't do anymore. Sold the stadium to himself, and then put it in the wrong accounts, which meant that we got a 12-point deduction, which got reduced to 6, but ultimately that's what relegated us. So yes, there's all that hanging over it. Does he sell the stadium with the football club? Yeah, you mentioned administration before. To my knowledge, I don't think there's no debt associated to the football club. It's just to him personally, which is another thing that's he would have to put himself into administration, which I don't think he's ever going to do. It doesn't really make any sense to do that. I think HMRC could do that, but I'm not really that person to talk to. Let's get Kieran Maguire or someone like that can probably explain that better than what I can. But yeah.
Oh, mate, I feel for you. It's just so wrong. The thing is, it's like I don't know if you think this, Jay. It's like when you see it happen to another club, you think, God, that could be ours, but it isn't. So you don't really focus on it. And we've seen problems at so many clubs. And when it is yours, it's just heartbreaking.
And it's Sheffield Wednesday, Max. It's Sheffield Wednesday, James. Yeah. It's a big, proper, traditional football club.
Do you know what the problem is?
With a huge history and a massive fan base. And that's when you go, God, it can happen to them. If it gets close with you, it can get close with anybody, really.
Do you know what the worst thing about it is? You've got Sheffield United fans feeling sorry for us.
Yeah, dreadful.
That is the worst thing ever. Yeah. Such a fierce rivalry. And you've got Sheffield United fans saying, I really feel for you. I hope you get this situation sorted out. That should never happen.
Yeah.
You should never feel sorry for a rival football club. But that's where it's got to. And that's what people are obviously thinking right now that, like I said at the top, I don't think we're going to go to the wall. I really don't think that's going to happen. However, I do see points deductions. I do see relegations. we've got no pre-season friendlies sorted. We've got Barry Bannon, who absolute club legend. He's not signed a new contract. He is out of contract on Tuesday. So, I don't know if that's going to be resolved. He hasn't been paid. There's things like that are a real concern right now. And next season, it looks like it's going to be an absolute write-off before it's even begun, which is just really upsetting and really sad, to be fair.
Look, we wish you all the best, James, and we'll keep track of what's happening, and we appreciate your time, and I hope the next time we chat it'll be more positive news. Thanks, pal.
Yeah, good luck, James.
No problem, thank you.
James Mappin then from the Wednesday Till I Die podcast. And you're absolutely right, Charlie. Like my club is brilliantly run now, but it's been terribly run in the past, Cambridge. Same with you, right? And when you're there and you're in it and you just can't see a way out, it's so frustrating.
I think what I mean with the size of the club, Max, is
no, of course,
no disrespect to Cambridge United or to Torquay United. They feel a bit more malleable. Like, it's not like this massive...
It doesn't take much to save it.
It doesn't take as much money to save it. And it feels like Sheffield Wednesday, if they're in a championship, it feels like it needs a lot of money. And who knows where that is, that money,
Yeah.
Maybe Jeff Bezos could have held his wedding at Sheffield Wednesday, and instead of spending £52 million to hire Venice,
at Hillsborough. Anyway, it's Max and Charlie here until 2. Marcus Speller from the Football Ramble joins in just a second. We'll do some transfer stuff and then force him to play the footballer game. I don't want to question, the voiceover people.
Yeah.
Sure, it's not Basil. But anyway, who knows? Whatever happens, we'll have commentary of the opening game of the Women's Euros and all the England and Wales games. Let's do some transfer stuff. It's Max Rush and Charlie Baker with you until 2 on the warm-up. Marcus Speller from the excellent Football Ramble podcast.
Yes.
I wouldn't listen to any other football podcast, Marcus. Welcome.
Hello, Marcus.
You're very kind, gentlemen. Always good to be with you.
Should we start with Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
Heavily linked to Arsenal, I'm hearing.
In this show. Is that right? I mean, just announced that he's leaving Everton. It's an interesting player, I think. On his day, before the injuries, looked like he could be the sort of heir apparent to take over from Harry Kane, and it hasn't really worked out. And a fresh start is probably not a bad thing for everyone.
Yeah, when you say the heir apparent to Harry Kane, it feels a long time ago now. But yeah, he was in the Euro 2020 squad, which of course happened in the summer of 2021, lest we forget. The problem is, Max, you've already said it, injuries with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You always have to caveat it with that. I think, off the top of my head, I think he's only had 5 seasons out of the 9 at Everton where he's done over 30 games, something like that. So not too many. And he's still in his 20s. I mean, he's been there for a long, long time. If you remember, back in the day, he scored the goal that won England the Under-20s World Cup in 2017. He was a highly rated youngster. He looks the part, still does. The attributes are there. So many managers have been very flowing with their praise for him, not most notably perhaps Carlo Ancelotti. And yet with Calvert-Lewin, we're
Brazil,
still
can he go to Brazil?
Oh, now you're talking. He's probably played I think he's got 11 England caps, so that door I think is shut. Yeah. It's still
likes him.
It's still open for the three of us, but it's closed for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But I think with Calvert-Lewin, his time at Everton's come to an end. He's a free agent, so you'll have, as Charlie says, maybe somebody like Arsenal think, well, I mean, we didn't have any strikers, it seemed, last season, so why not have him on for the bench or something? I think a more kind of middle tier Premier League club, let's say Fulham, for example, my beloved Fulham, I don't see why they would take a punt on him. Marco Silva is excellent at kind of repackaging and repurposing players, if you like. Look what he did with Raul Jimenez, for example. Similar type of striker, if you like. Fulham like to cross the ball. So here's me linking him to Fulham right now. But who knows where he goes. There's still a player in there. And we want to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin fulfil that potential, although it seems to be odd using the word potential when he's, about 28 years of age now.
I have a thought. This is not maybe this is not as deep as I think it might be. But
I thought you were going to say maybe this is not for radio.
It's definitely for radio. It's a very broadcastable feeling. Okay. But we're constantly talking about player welfare and our fears for elite players playing too many games. Yes. And I think we say it, but I don't think anyone really cares, because players get injured and then you just go, well, yeah, they just get injured. He just gets injured, and there's always some other player to be the next best player. And actually, we should start actually caring. We're going, okay, this guy was so good, and of course you can be unlucky, right? It's a contact sport and you're twisting and turning and people's knees are different and genetics and all those things, but I actually think of all the talk about people caring about player welfare, I don't think anyone actually cares, Marcus.
Their families do, Max, I reckon.
Yeah,
but
I think you're right.
But also, some footballers don't like playing football, and that is true, and that is the truth. And so, some footballers, I think, I don't know. You're obviously very good at it. It's obviously always been in your life, and you found a way to make huge money.
Do you feel like maybe that a lot of footballers? I mean, if you're talking about footballers, that maybe they've fallen out of love with the game. If you think about it, they have to be teenagers really to start taking it seriously in terms of going professional. But I don't know if Calvert-Lewin's one of them. I mean, perhaps I'm, adding two and two there. But I think with regard to sort of injuries and so on, I mean, I mean, this is just different. I think for Calvert-Lewin, he's just one of those players. You think about them through past generations and so on. There was always, old sick note, there would be nickname and so on and so forth. We always had that. I don't think Dominic Calvert-Lewin will ever play at the Club World Cup, so I don't think that will be a problem. But who knows? Maybe I'm being a bit harsh there. But as I say, there's a player there, and I think that he's wanting to leave Everton. He's wanting a new challenge, and hopefully the next 5, 6, 7 years, however many years Calvert-Lewin's got left, we will stop using the word injured and maybe use the word goals when talking about the young man.
Where's Emi Martinez going to go?
Good signing wherever he goes. Really good signing.
Well, this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I know the Villa fans will be quite sad to see him go. A goalkeeper who's 32, he'll be 33 in September, I think. I don't send him a birthday card every year, so but I think it's September.
But most years you do.
Yeah,
you just got out of the habit.
Yeah.
In fact, you just said, "I'm not sending birthday cards this year for climate change reasons." Emmy, please accept this email pop-up.
A moon pig on the day sometime.
There you go. That's it. That's exactly right. Yeah, Jackie Lawson is my preferred choice, Charlie.
I apologise.
But not at all. Other e-cards are available, no doubt. But with Emi Martinez, I mean. The chat is Old Trafford is his preferred destination. So we shall see about that. I mean, it's not somewhere where I would quite fancy going as a footballer at the moment. Chelsea are another one who are in the market for a goalkeeper, so they could fancy a bit of that. I mean, no spring chicken, but a huge personality, a huge character, a great goalkeeper as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
He was the best goalkeeper in the world officially not that long ago. So Manchester United, let's face it, Andre Onana has not inspired that much since he's been there, and I don't think any fans would complain too much. They've been doing good business, Manchester United, with regards to Cunha, and if they can get Mbeumo over the line as well. Martinez, I think, would improve Manchester United. He'd improve Chelsea. Those are the two, really, I think, that are the front runners for Martinez. So it'd be a shame for Villa if they lose him, but it'll be great whoever gets him.
Chelsea want João Pedro as well. They might sort of try and buy him and then get him straight to the Club World Cup. And he must be going, just buy me.
Can you buy me? Can I have a couple more weeks off?
How many?
How
many wide attackers do Chelsea need? Like, they can't keep getting them. They've got so many.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work at the moment if you're a wide attacker, but Chelsea are really kind of saturating the market, aren't they? I know what you mean. If you're João Pedro and you're on holiday at the moment, smash your fax machine up and then maybe get another one in a couple of weeks' time. Just whatever you do, you can't be dealing with that. I don't know what it is with Chelsea. It's like with goalkeepers. What have they got? 12 goalkeepers on their books or something like that?
8 goalkeepers it was, I think, at last, and still not the right one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for Emi Martinez, it would seem, Charlie. So I mean, with Chelsea, they just love signing players, don't they? And of course they seemingly got a bit more money in the bank since they sold their own women's team to themselves. So they're creative, if nothing else, and I'll leave that there.
Very quickly before we play the footballer game, Harvey Elliott, who obviously played really well, player of the tournament, the under-21, scored another really good goal, has done so well, especially in those knockout stages, but isn't a guaranteed start of Liverpool. Probably quite far away from that, actually. But God, he's good.
Yeah.
You're going to send him to Fulham again? I mean, he could do better than that.
Feels Spurs to me. He feels Spurs.
Feels Spurs, does he?
Yeah, that's what he feels to me.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you refrain from saying Spursy there, Charlie.
I don't say Spursy. I don't say it. I work with too many Spurs people to say Spursy.
Yeah, Thomas Frank is going to. He's out to change that tag, certainly. Or maybe Ange has already done it. I don't know. But with regard to Harvey Elliott, brilliant player. I mean, the way he lit up that tournament, superb. I, as a Fulham fan, and I know he left somewhat under a cloud, I wouldn't be opposed to him coming back, of course. I think he improves most Premier League sides. He's made noises, hasn't he, that he would like some more game time. That is understandable, totally. At Liverpool, he's probably not going to get it. And that's understandable as well. He's a rare breed of Englishman because he actually can score against Donnarumma. Got one, of course, in Paris. Not many English people have scored past him. A wonderful player, very dynamic, and he'll have his sights set on the World Cup next summer, as he should. So I think there are a lot of Premier League clubs, as I say, that would be improved if Elliott went there. Obviously, out with sort of PSR kind of chat, you'd think he would pretty much have the pick. I mean, I don't know how much the asking price Liverpool will be at this moment in time. In the coming days and weeks, I think we'll probably begin to find that out and people will test their resolve there. But we want to see Harvey Elliott starting in the Premier League. Wonderful player and got a great future ahead of him and present as well.
Yeah, I completely forgotten he came from Fulham. So thanks for reminding me of that. Hey, let's play the football again. I don't believe you've ever played before, Marcus. Are you aware of how it works?
I am.
I think he'll be quite good. I think he'll be quite a good player. Scott Minto's going to play as well. Hey, Scott.
How are we, chaps? You okay? Max, you were talking about player welfare. I don't remember you ever getting in contact with me and saying I'm really concerned about you, Scott.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, it was over 20 years ago. That was true. But even so,
Did you not get those letters? Did nobody open those letters?
The pigeon turned left.
There's a chest. Yeah. There's a chest of letters unopened.
Wow.
Scott Minto, I'm sorry to hear about your calf this week.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry.
It was actually a continual letter about my calf, probably for about 5 years. But that's fine. I know you were there for me, really, in spirit.
I was. I went through so many Parker pens on the injury woes of Scott Minto. What's coming up this afternoon, please, Scott?
Oh, mate, more of the same. I mean, we're going to be talking, obviously, an amazing win in the Euro under-21s.
Yeah.
I think Lee Carsley... I mean, does he get enough credit? I do think there's a massive jump from the under-21s to the senior side, and we'll also discuss who could make that step up. I think it's a massive step up, and I also think Thomas Tuchel, actually, I'll choose my words carefully here. He's going older rather than younger. He's going more experienced, so I think it's going to be very difficult for the lads to get in there. But Lee Carsley, brilliant, absolutely fantastic, back-to-back wins on there. I was working on the Chelsea Benfica game.
Oh yes, we were saying Nigel Adley's been in touch
What was Nigel saying?
A lot of padding went on.
Do you know what? We had an excellent producer, Will, and so we padded for about 30 minutes, and it's just a mad ruling. I could waffle on, and I will waffle on, so please listen to it. But the protocol of it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And if it is going to be that and stay like that, you cannot play in that place, in that location. It's as simple as that. There was nothing happening in the next 2 hours in terms of thunder and lightning.
It's like a golf rule, isn't it? Like you have to go off if there's lightning in golf.
Computer says no.
Yeah.
So therefore you got to do it. But there's that as well. We'll talk Club World Cup as well.
Good. Right, let's play the football game because we're slightly late and you've got hours of your own show to fill. No, don't apologise at all. Hey, Reese is here. Hey, Reese.
Hey.
Out of 10, how are you?
10. Good to be back.
Oh,
okay.
10.
Where have you been, Reese?
We've missed you. I didn't even notice. Let's play, everybody. Shout if you think you know the answer.
I want to ask you where you've been, but clearly Max is saying we've got to move on.
No, don't care. Let's crack on. Here we go.
Our first footballer began his career at Auxerre in 2004, where he stayed until 2006, scoring once.
Christophe Dugarry.
Nope. He then moved to Arsenal between 2006 and 2015, where he scored 14 goals in 124 games before finishing his career.
Oh, Koscielny.
Nope.
No.
Back at Marseille between 2015 and 17, where he played 5 times and did not score.
What was his Arsenal? Arsenal
14 goals.
Yeah. 14 goals in 124 games in 9 years between 06 and 15. Nope.
No, he's a defender.
And it's not Laurent Koscielny.
It's not Laurent Koscielny, I can confirm.
Can I try that again? Laurent Koscielny.
No. He scored once in his 16 games for
Gilles
France.
Grimondi.
Nope.
If you say it 3 times, Max, you get it right. You know that.
Candyman. Oh, God.
That's a good one.
This is terrible.
Marcus's line still working
again, Reese? Go on.
Absolutely.
It was Auxerre 04-06, Arsenal 06-15, and then finished at Marseille
9 years
15-17.
Gael Clichy, no.
Nope.
No.
Blimey.
French defenders.
Or holding midfielders.
Please
I was given a yellow card last time I gave a clue.
Oh, yeah.
No clues.
No clues. Okay.
Okay, so we're on at 2:30 now.
Defensive midfielder for...
Could be.
Maybe.
Grimondi.
Not Grimondi.
Dear me.
Definitely not Koscielny.
Laurent Koscielny.
And you're right.
Pascal Segan.
No.
Ooh, good guess.
Too early.
He was an invincible.
Wow, this is...
He was.
He was.
This is dreadful.
He was an invincible. Petit?
No, this one wasn't an invincible.
No.
Wasn't an invincible.
No.
Well, he would have been there.
Diaby.
It is Abu Dhabi, yes.
Okay.
Was that you,
That
Max?
is Yellow
or was that
5000. Yellow 5001.
Google
Max
5000.
Nil, Charlie Nil,
Good news.
Marcus Nil.
He was
Scott Nil. Here we go, player
the
2.
new Patrick Vieira, wasn't
Yes, he was.
Oh.
He was there for 9 years, Diaby.
Yeah, he was in a lot of it. He had. Listen, you should have been writing letters to him, Max. Did a lot.
Yeah, I
of
should have done. Yeah, you're absolutely
care
right.
for him.
Okay, here we go.
Our second footballer began his career at Nottingham Forest in 2001, staying until 2005, scoring 7 goals in 83 games. He then moved to Tottenham in 05, staying until 2014, scoring 7 in 230
Andy
games.
Rees.
Nope, he then moved to Hull City.
Michael Dawson.
It is Michael Dawson.
Very good. That was the one. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. You're good at this,
Max 1, Yellow 5001, Marcus Nil, Charlie
It's like you're
Nil,
the only
Scott
one
Nil.
that plays it every week.
Well, I was just about to say.
Here we go with player 3.
Practice.
Player 3.
Our final footballer began his career at Viking in the year 2000, staying until 2005, scoring 6 goals in 114 games before moving to Copenhagen between 06 and 08, scoring 3 times in 63, then moved to the Premier League with Fulham between 2008 and 2014, scoring
John Arisa.
No.
Brenna Hangeland.
It is Brenna Hangeland.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, you're Fulham fan as well, Marcus. Unbelievable.
He beat me by about 2 seconds there. Fair play.
And I'm on a massive 2-hour delay from Australia, so that
I know.
is
3 out of 3, Max.
very
not 3 out of 3.
impressive.
2 out of 3.
2 out of
Very
3.
impressive.
2 for me, 1 for Yellow 5000, none for the rest of them. Thank you, Marcus. Thanks for coming on. Thank you, Scott.
Pleasure,
Enjoy your
gentlemen.
show.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you,
It
Reece.
was
You're a
Lauren
wonderful
Koscielny,
man. It was Lauren Koscielny, of course. Right, Lars Siverton will join us in just a second. We'll do some more Club World Cup.
Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Some are pretty straightforward. Arsenal are the Gunners because they were founded by a group of munitions workers, and Bournemouth are the Cherries because their old stadium was built right next to a cherry orchard. Then there's Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ipswich Town nicked their nickname off their opponents in the late 90s, Birmingham. The term Tractor Boys was chanted as a way to tease the team about their farming background, but they started using it themselves as a way to cheer on the team in victory instead. Take that, Birmingham. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, well, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire's also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Crystal Palace's nickname came from an extreme makeover. They were having a nightmare run in the 70s, and when they were relegated, their manager, Malcolm Allison, wasn't having it. I know what will make us better, he thought, a new nickname. The Strong and Deadly Eagle sounded like a pretty good bet. And there's more to that story. Brighton used Palace's nickname to inspire their own. Ooh, a bird, they thought. Let's just pick a different one for us. And so, in a heated match between the two teams back in 1976, when Palace fans began chanting "Eagles, Eagles," Brighton fans had the perfect reply: "Seagulls, Seagulls." So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good afternoon. It is the warm-up on talkSPORT. Max and Charlie with you until 2. Lars Iversen joins us in just a second. We'll do some Club World Cup, including that ludicrous delay for Chelsea. Before that, it is the Austrian Grand Prix. Today, Piers Pryor will be watching it for talkSPORT, our Formula One correspondent. Piers, you will, as the season progresses, notice that I'm not an expert on the Formula One. Is this the start of the season? Are we just about to finish it? How's Nigel Mansell doing? Questions like that. Just treat me as the idiot that I am.
Well, the moustache is certainly out of fashion, that's for sure. But no, it's getting towards halfway in the season now. It's shaping up for a very good Grand Prix, actually. Last time out at Canada, we had drama as the McLarens, who are fighting for the championship, actually came together. Lando Norris coming off worse in that one. But he's managed to bounce back. He's on pole in qualifying, setting a dominant performance by half a second. He's going to be chased closely by Charles Leclerc, who managed to get in second, and then his teammate Piastri third place. So hopefully Norris trying to overcome that 22-point deficit to his teammate Piastri today in the 71 laps at the Austrian Grand Prix.
Right. Have you got any further questions, Charlie?
I thought Lewis Hamilton had his first time. He's had a pretty good time in the Ferrari, hasn't he? He's not had a great time so far. He's fallen out with the whole team about it, but he's had a good qualification, hasn't he?
Yeah, P4 in qualifying and not too far off his teammate, less than a tenth of a second off Charles Leclerc, which is the closest he's been pretty much all season. Hopefully he can be there in the race, because that's also been one of his Achilles heels. He's been miles off Charles Leclerc in the races, which is, in his career uncharacteristic, but of course still bedding in at Ferrari. So we'll see how it goes. He needs a good result, especially to kick off his season.
Thank you, Piers. Appreciate your time. Piers Pryor there, our Formula One correspondent. Keep you posted on a Sunday session. Let's bring in Lars Iversen to talk about the Club World Cup. Hey, Lars, you good?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I was so hyped to come on today. I turned up an hour early. This is the level of readiness you get from me today.
Just pinged up on the Zoom like a grandparent who'd got the wrong time.
Hello.
Good fun. I think that's how our show should just be. We'll send out the Zoom address to all the guests, and they come on when they want. Like Graham Norton, Now, question, Lars. Were you watching the Chelsea game? Did you stay through the delay, or did you catch up with all of it in the morning?
I fell asleep during the delay, to be perfectly honest. Listen, we got to go with honesty. It's the best policy. I tried. Okay. And my personal backdrop for this game was that I saw I saw the headline yesterday that Jurgen Klopp says the Club World Cup is the worst idea ever.
Yeah.
It said in the headline. I was like, steady on, Jurgen. I know there have been some. I checked the article, and he had what he actually said was it's the worst idea ever implemented in football, and I think that's an important qualifier. And then we're again very closer to agreeing. And I saw an answer to this from a Sky Sports reporter who said, Jurgen, if you don't like it, you can go play padel or go for a swim. And I thought, oh, that's a constructive suggestion.
Nice.
And then I sat down and I watched Benfica Chelsea, the first part of it before the delay. And as much as the game was going on, I started thinking, I really like swimming. Swimming is great. I mean, I could go for a swim right now. Yeah, I have been trying with this tournament, but I am really struggling to grab a hold of it. I don't support any of the teams in it. Maybe that is a problem. If you're a Chelsea fan who were just absolutely hyped for the World Cup and you had a great time last night, I don't mean to tell you were wrong to feel those things, but it does remind you of all these sort of preseason summer tour games we've seen in America before, doesn't it? The tempo is quite low. It's very hot a lot of the time. The stands are half empty. The players, I mean, listen, they're professionals. I'm sure they want to win the game, but as I said last week, I would love to see some sort of social media content where they hook all of them up to lie detectors and ask them, do you really want to be here? You know, that's a yacht somewhere in the Mediterranean with your name on it. You know, that's also an option. But Chelsea, where I do want to give Chelsea some credit is that they got through it. Like this game was not a good game, and then it was stopped with this very long weather delay. And then they came back and they had to go into extra time, and they stuck at it, and they got past a not very impressive Benfica team, and Enzo Maresca looked very happy on the sideline. And then he controversially said after the game that maybe the US is not the best place for this tournament because, of course, these weather delays are becoming an issue. It's fair to say.
And that's the question. And that is the question, because it's not fine. But look, a Club World Cup game between Benfica and Chelsea that has a 2-hour delay, whatever. The last 16 of the World Cup, and it's Italy versus, I don't know, Uruguay, and there's a 2-hour delay. There is uproar, isn't there?
Yes, there is. And I would argue there's a bigger problem still, which is the last round of the group stage games, which are played simultaneously so that nobody should have the competitive advantage of knowing other people's results. If they start getting delayed for a long time, then it actually becomes a problem for the sort of for the tournament and the integrity of the tournament was the phrase I was looking for. Now, it's worth stating the stadium venues that are being used in this summer tournament are not exactly the same as next. I mean, there'll be more stadia that have a roof. There'll be more domes in the World Cup next summer, I believe. But there are still a couple of stadiums that are uncovered that will be used next summer as well, like the one in Tennessee, I believe. Well, not the one in Kansas, and the one in Philly. So there are a couple of stadiums that are at risk of this sort of stuff happening, and I do hope this is something FIFA take a little bit seriously.
I suppose they might say this is
Twisters in Kansas as well to watch out for, aren't they? But if you have magic slippers, you can just whisk yourself
click
away.
Your heels. Click your heels. Ruby slippers.
I've been asked to, and we should. Enzo Maresca was not sort of glowing with praise about all of this. This is what he said after the game.
Wow.
This is what Enzo Maresca said after the game. He didn't say anything. He said absolutely nothing.
He was speechless.
No, he was furious. Sorry, Charlie, I interrupted you.
No, I suppose
some audio that didn't play.
I suppose that what they would say is this is a test event for the World Cup, and here we are testing the event to its full capabilities, and that's what it's for, I suppose.
Yeah, no, Charlie. If what comes out of this is that we've learned playing a summer tournament in the middle of a heat wave in America is not a good idea, then
sure.
I feel like we could have gotten there before. Actually, but that's just like, I'm not an expert on these things, but maybe some important learnings can be taken out of it. That's for sure. I guess I feel like this is a tournament that's It's an attempt at finding out if there is a market for this, if people actually want this. And you got to bear in mind, like a year ago, it looked like this might not work because they were struggling to find a broadcaster for it. Carlo Ancelotti, then in charge of Real Madrid, last summer came straight out and said that Real Madrid are not going to play in this tournament because they're not offering enough money. He pretty much said. Then, of course, this deal with DAZN, which is how it's spelled, so that's how I'm going to say it, DAZN, who had themselves received quite a bit of money from Saudi Arabia. Okay, that sort of thing came aboard, and the money's there, and now the players are there. But what I'm not convinced is, I know this is a big deal in the South American countries, in Brazil and Argentina. The fans have really turned up, and those have made it a big thing. But I think for a lot of people around the world, I'm not getting the sense that this tournament is really landing. You know, there's an advert that keeps playing on the broadcast, like with the DAZN. It's like, do you really want to be the one person who's not interested in the Club World Cups? Like, I don't feel I am the one person in my friend group who's not really interested in the World Cup.
It's got no soul, is it, Lars? It's got no soul because it's built on money, and stuff that's built on money has no soul. So and football is full of soul. It's what the whole thing's about. And so because the tournament's got no soul, you don't care about it.
I do fear that you are a little bit right, and I've said this before. The whole thing really does remind me of the times I've tried watching live golf, in the sense that you can recognize there are names and stars and people you know who are there doing something that you like watching, but it's just there's something about it that's just missing, and maybe that is the thing you mentioned, right? Is this the soul element of it?
Yeah, that's an interesting point as well. I read somewhere about Australia being interested in hosting the Club World Cup, right? And actually, it would be a really good place to host the Club World Cup. The month that the weather is cold in most of Australia now, and the fans here would be so excited to see those games. But you wouldn't get a truckload of South American fans, that is for sure, because obviously they're in the States because it's just not that far to travel. And so that's been a real benefit for FIFA, and it's been good for those fans and it's good for those clubs. But as soon as the Club World Cup goes to the other side of the world, you instantly don't get those fans, apart from the diaspora, right?
Yeah, but that's a fair point worth making. I mean, I've made fun of it being in the US in the summer because of the weather and all the stuff, but actually, on the other hand, I mean, the US might be one of the very few places where it makes sense to have it, because most countries a lot of countries certainly have a significant diaspora there. So you will be able to find some people from various countries who are interested in things. But maybe that is also a weakness of the concept of the Club World Cup. Like, for the actual World Cup, you will turn up and support your country. But even with if you have a numerous diaspora from various countries, you need the diaspora to, I guess, be fans of that particular club, which they might not be. Maybe there's loads of Japanese people who are just not into the Urawa Red Diamonds, so they can't be arsed. Like they're much more into the other J League teams. I don't know. I do wonder if that is inherently why, if they're trying to replicate the magic of the actual World Cup just with club teams, which seems to be the idea here. I do wonder if the fact that the club tournaments can never be quite as unifying as international football, for all its flaws, really is.
It's really interesting because you sort of think at the start, you go, okay, give it another 40 years, then it'll be part of the calendar, and who knows if the world is still here, if it hasn't been blown up or whatever. I mean, we look at all the weather problems. Because I was thinking about this, sorry to change tack mid-sentence, but in USA '94, was that just climate change hadn't got as bad? Is that? I mean, I can't remember.
It was very hot, though. It was very hot. I remember
the final was junk, wasn't it?
Early. It's a long time ago for me, but I do remember Norway were going there, and we were very worried about the weather. Like we had to play. I think we played a game in the Rose Bowl, and it was just in Pasadena. It was just terrible. And in the run-up to the tournament, Norway, then managed by the great Egil Olsen, Wimbledon icon Egil Olsen, had the players training wearing bin liners because they wanted them to get used to being really hot and humid on the field. And I'm not sure that really was a method that prepared them for anything. But the reason I bring this up is it was a concern back then as well. But I am told it is unusually hot in the US now. It is a kind of heat wave that is happening, which means some of the northeastern venues are hotter than they should be. But certainly it has to be a concern. It has to be a concern.
Well, you've got us all pumped for the rest of the last 16 games. So appreciate your time as always, my friend.
PSG Inter Miami in the knockout game. It should be interesting. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to go for that swim now, I think, and then I'll be ready by the time it starts up again.
Good stuff. Cheers, Lars.
Cheers, Lars.
And more from Lars in a bit. Just time for Guess the Attendance, and we'll do that in a second. If you weren't aware, Oasis are reforming, and there's going to be some live gigs, and we can get you into the one in Manchester on July the 19th, and we'll give you £5,000 in cash and a night in a hotel, tax-free. And what I'm pleased is that there isn't a guest from Manchester to now hear.
This is embarrassing.
The T's and C's. Here are the
Don't bring
T's
Justin
and C's.
onto this.
And then we will cross to Justin Morehouse for his reaction.
Alright, kid. You have to be over 18 to enter in the UK, excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win a pair of tickets to the most electrifying rock and roll reunion of the century, a hotel stay, and £5,000 spending money, all you gotta do is text the word Oasis to 83338 by Monday the 7th of July at 11 p.m. and you'll be entered into the draw to go supersonic this summer. Sorted. Right, here's all the legal stuff. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You've got to have the bill payer's permission or post your name and number to Oasis Prize Draw, P.O. Box 3190, Colchester, CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 10th of July. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com.
Time for Guess the Attendance. Today, top comedian Charlie Baker takes on top comedian Justin Morehouse. Justin, the floor is yours. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
It's nice to meet you, Justin.
That's a hate crime. That trail was probably up there. What is that? I mean, clearly the kid's from Manchester. What's he doing taking the money for that? I mean, where's the shame?
Well,
we all have to start somewhere.
Everyone's got to make a living. We've got to make a living.
And I think I know who that voice is. He's not starting anywhere. I think he's an established voiceover artist.
Oh, right, okay.
Terms and conditions.
How are you, Justin?
They should say things like, and if you don't win, you should just roll with it.
Yeah, roll. Yeah.
Really good.
Put the money in your Wonder Wallet.
Yeah, you don't need to be standing on the shoulders of giants. We'll get you right into the gig.
You can stuck on She's
now.
Electric. Oh, God, I'm stuck on She's Should we play Guess the Attendance?
I come on this thing and I look at myself in the camera. My head looks dead red, like I'm Father Christmas, but I'm not watching it out.
You're very handsome,
you look
Justin.
great.
Really handsome.
Great.
Saw Charlie's face last night.
Where did you see my face?
Oh, yeah.
Saw your face next to the party. in Pocklington Arts Centre.
Oh, yeah, I did a show there, yeah.
2 shows there last night. I did a matinee and then
very
an evening.
nice. Oh, well done.
Man had a funny turn. He was only weeks away from open heart surgery and he came to the show.
Oh, gosh.
He had a funny turn.
Was he all right?
Yeah. And I thought, when I saw you posted there, Charlie, for your most recent tour, no mention of the work you do with Max on there. You don't even use that as a selling tool.
No. Maybe that's why I didn't do 2 shows at Pocklington Arts Centre.
Works with Max.
Yeah. I could put a quote.
I'll get them in Pocklington, won't it? I'm huge in Pocklington.
Go get it. Max Rushden and that's the quote, the show quote.
Yeah.
Hey, let's play, everybody. Let's begin with the Under-21 Euro 2025 final. Sander van der Eegd refereed the game. It was at the Tehelnepole in Bratislava.
Well done.
England
Well
3,
done.
Germany 2. How many were there, Justin?
I have absolutely no idea whatsoever.
No.
But I'm going to say 20,000.
I'm going to say
20,000.
I'm going to say 20,001.
19,153. He's so good at this
he's such
game.
a pro. He's almost spot on.
Yeah.
I'm at altitude.
Magic guess. Yeah.
Quite a different game.
Impressive.
I'm seeing passes before they've even happened.
No, you got space. Just got space. More time than everyone else.
All skulls of number guessing.
Hey, don't call it number guessing, Justin. We're trying to sell it to management. Don't just say number guessing.
I don't think we need to sell it. This is the draw now. This has been the longest thing established on this show. My 2 children moved continents, hemispheres.
Perhaps you could have the number you are out. Perhaps that could build over the course and have like a spread.
Charlie, do not. Previous people who've run this radio station suggested that, and it's an absolute bloody nightmare. Let me tell you.
Charlie, what you're doing there, Charlie, is you've literally come along and put your foot through a Rembrandt.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's true. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with it.
Production.
Yeah. Okay, I agree.
Put your foot through a Rembrandt. Here we are.
Put your foot
Bank
through
of America Stadium.
Too many people when they're ruining Rembrandts these days. They're doing little stuttery run-ups.
Yeah.
And going for placement.
Game's gone, hasn't it? Game's gone.
Gone.
Boots, black boots only. Put your foot through a Rembrandt. None of this tiki-taki crap.
Slivko Vincic of Slovenia refereed Benfica 1, Chelsea 4 for a long time. I want the attendance, I believe, at the start of the game, not the end of the game. How many were there to watch Chelsea beat Benfica 4-1 in the excellent Club World Cup? Charlie.
What's the stadium? Where was the stadium, Max?
It's the Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to say 29,000.
29,000, Justin?
As a man who has 2-footed a Van Gogh, I'll say 28,199.
25,929. 2-0 to Justin Morehouse. So good at this game. We carry on in the Club World Cup. Lincoln Financial Field.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know where it is, but in America somewhere. Dahane Bader of Mauritius refereed the game. It was Salzburg 0, Real Madrid 3 on Friday night. Goals for Vinicius, Valverde and Garcia. But how many were there to watch Real Madrid beat Salzburg 3-0 on the Lincoln Financial Field? Would you like me to tell you where it is? We don't have time. We've only got like a minute left of the show. So
I'm assuming Lincoln Financial is the sponsor, the stadium sponsor, isn't it?
It's named after Abraham
That's not
Lincoln.
a place.
It was nobody knows he was called Abraham Lincoln Financial.
Yeah, you can eat some great
during the
ices.
emancipation years. I've seen clips of this. It was big. It was big. This one.
All right.
60,000, I think.
60,000, Charlie.
59,999.
64,811.
What an idiot.
Let's go to the State Farm Stadium in America. Lucas Spazler of the USA refereed the game. Mexico 2, Saudi Arabia 0. Oh, this is the CONCACAF World Cup Gold Cup quarterfinal. Blimey, the CONCACAF Gold Cup quarterfinal. Mexico 2, Saudi Arabia 0 at the State Farm Stadium. I presume in America somewhere. But how many were there? Charlie?
I think that's going to be high. Mexico playing in a game that means
Saudi
something.
Arabia, somehow got into CONCACAF, the
Okay,
Saudis.
I'm going to say 55,000 people were there.
55,000. Justin.
Hey, 55,001.
45,255. It's 3-1.
Take that, Rembrandt.
And finally, we go back to the Lincoln Financial Field, Abraham Lincoln Financial Field. Francois Letexier refereed Palmeiras 1, Botafogo 0. How many were there to watch that one, Justin?
40,000.
Charlie?
39,999.
33,657. Final score, Justin 3, Charlie 2. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
See you later, guys.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thanks, Max. I enjoyed it.
Me too. Sunday Sessions next.